As a small business owner, I don't think true balance actually exists. There are going to be slow seasons, there are going to be busy seasons, and it's really up to us to find that flow and stay in alignment. And now that we're getting into the busiest season of the year, I know there are just so many things going on. Our to-do lists are a million miles long, and it's up to us to make the space to pause, take care of ourselves, because ultimately we're in this for the long haul and not for the burnout. So come along with me as I get into this busy week prepping for a shop update and try to find that flow. It's already shop update week, and I can't believe it's already here, but we have a lot to do. But today's my admin day too, so I'm gonna try to knock as much of that out as I can right away, and then continue making stuff. So welcome back to the studio.
The wrong way as well.
I'm actually feeling really motivated and productive this morning, which was not the case over the weekend. Like last night, I was having this like stress spiral and like feeling really overwhelmed. And I did get out and do some stuff with friends this weekend, but a lot of it I spent just knitting and getting some stuff made. I feel like that's what I've been feeling the most pressure about lately. And also, there's only a week left for people to sign up for the Iceland trip, and there are 3 spots left. So I feel also like I need to be sharing about that. But I think last night, one of the biggest things was really just realizing, okay, what do I actually need to do? Because there are so many things on my to-do list right now. And I think I just have to cut some stuff out. So like today I was planning to make a post about my REI year guides and like affiliate links because they're having their big sale. And, you know, I keep seeing other people and content creators sharing all of that. But I was like, okay, this week I have my shop update. I am not a full-time content creator. I have a small business to run too, so that is something I don't need to feel compelled to do right now, even though it's something I want to incorporate more of, but I'm cutting that off. But anyway, I felt really productive. I got all my Monday tasks done, so I thought I'd make like a nicer breakfast. I made blue corn pancakes over the weekend and had some left over, so I just heated them up and then just fried up some bananas for it. But one of my main goals this week is also to just take care of myself during this kind of stressful time. And there are definitely days where sometimes I'm like, oh wow, it's 5 p.m. and I should eat some lunch. So don't look at this meal and be like, wow, you're just so fancy. It's really just trying to be more intentional this week about taking care of my body as well. Because I think we forget to do that sometimes, especially when we're thrown into the crush. And next week is Thanksgiving, which means it's like that crazy Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday kind of time frame. And I think there's just so much noise and there's always so much pressure to be selling and selling and selling and promoting and doing sales and blah, 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 blah. But as a handmade seller, I really struggle with that because I really do want to thank my community and my customers and show some gratitude. But as someone who hand makes every item, it's really hard to offer those big discounts, and there's no way we can do that and succeed as a business. So I try to come up with some other types of promotions or giveaways a lot of the times, especially since my business is founded on giving back to nonprofit organizations that support the planet and women's rights and LGBTQ rights and things like that. Sometimes I do what I call a give back sale. So I have a discount code where if people use it, they get a little discount. If they don't use it, I actually donate that money to one of these organizations. So I still haven't figured out what that is gonna look like, but we will this week because I need to have it ready for the shop update. But I'm gonna let myself just eat this breakfast really quick and then get on with the day. of year when a lot of business owners and makers and artists and stuff like that, we all get a little down on ourselves, or we can. Like, there's always someone that seems to be making more stuff and being more productive, or being really on their content game, or sending more consistent emails, or posting more consistent YouTube videos or Instagram or whatever. And it's just really hard to not fall into the comparison trap. And I found myself really in that trap this weekend. And usually I am totally off my phone on the weekends, like on the apps, but I was just kind of in a really weird headspace and spiral, and it was not very helpful to be on there. But today, this week, fresh start. I'm trying to get my head back in the game. So I really want to be more intentional about my time on Instagram, because I feel like it can be a time suck if you let it. But it can also just be a tool, and it's something that's part of your work day or work week. And so I do try to plan out what I want to post throughout the week, especially if I know something like a shop update is coming up, because you kind of do have to warm up your community and people to share your stuff, because, you know, the algorithm and all that stuff. But when I find myself trying to scroll for inspo and stuff like that, it doesn't really help. So I try to come up with all of my ideas and, you know, my basic plan for the week on my Monday. So for the rest of the week too, if I need to capture photos or videos for some ideas, I already know what I need to capture, so I'm not just capturing everything. So I had an idea to do an intro post. I haven't done one of those in a while. So I'm gonna do that, but I want to put together all of my video clips and even like write my caption and what I want to say before I even get on Instagram to start putting the reel together, because my goal this week is to try to be a little bit more efficient with content creating for Instagram. And so I can just bang that out and move on. But one of the mindset shifts that was really helpful, that I feel like I'm not actually doing a very good job of right now, is to realize that like I'm also a part-time content creator for my business. And switching to that mindset was helpful, because before, and I kind of am feeling like that right now, so I'm trying to break from that, where creating content for the business felt like it was taking away from the other tasks I needed to do, like make a bunch of items. But in reality, if you're going to sell your items, you also need to be creating content and marketing and emails and things like that. So I think by changing the mindset to, I have a part-time content creator job, so I should be clocking, I don't know what the hours looks like, but say it's 10 hours a week doing content creation, then it's not wasted time, because you know that you've allotted 10 hours a week to do your content creator job. So I feel like that gives me an idea of like how I want to organize, because I want to see about how much time I actually spend on each of those types of tasks. And you know how when you're like trying to get on there and post as quickly as possible, but then you can't come up with any ideas, and then you like close your app because you're like, oh, it's not worth it anyway, and then you get back on because you're like, I still need to make a post. You kind of just get into this negative downward spiral, and then you waste a bunch of time and don't produce anything. So I think I want to try actually figuring out how much time per week I'm working on content, for example, and then just knowing that that's my content creator job. So of course this week, because of the shop update, I'm going to be posting a couple more times, but I want to be more efficient with making those posts. And I feel like not every post has to be this long heartfelt caption or more complicated reel. It can just be some photos of your items and what they are, or something like that, which I feel like I have to remind myself that that's okay to do too. But anyway, I'm going to make that reel, and for the rest of the day, I'm going to try to batch together a little bit more of that content and edit a YouTube video, and then keep making stuff.
Who told you that it was too late? When was it that you started leaning that way? 4 tires cut into the clay. It dries up and now there's just one road to take. It's growing up over with green. So easy to drive on, but not what it seems. The poison is spilling upstream, and it's taking out every living thing. Every living thing.
spending all morning trying to get more things made to photograph for the shop update because there are a few items that I don't have existing photos of and colors, so I'm trying to get all that stuff together. I still have to put tags on them so that the photographs are gonna work for the product listings, but you guys, I am struggling, I feel like, because there's just so much going on and all at once. So I'm just trying to manage that. So one, we're not going to get burned out because we are trying to also take care of ourselves. Like last night I went to my dance rehearsal and then had dinner with two of my girlfriends, so that was lovely and always much needed. But two, I am trying to just focus in, and I think I was talking about this yesterday, but I feel like I'm being pulled in a bunch of different directions. Like a week from today is the last day to book the Iceland trip. So I want to make sure that if people want to come, that they know that there's only a week left to book the trip and there's only 3 spots left. So I had to share about that. But then it's also the shop update. So I'm trying to make sure I have things for that and I'm sharing about that so that people know, because if you sell online and Instagram is one of your main ways to market your products, like you have to share more than once. You have to almost like ideally, and I did not do it this time, but ideally I try to have like a 2-week lead up where you're sharing sneak peeks, you're talking about the process, you're doing behind the scenes, you're sharing your collection inspo and stuff like that, and that really drums up a lot more buzz and people know about it. And I feel like I did that really well with the fall collection, but with the winter collection, I am not doing well with it. But there is just, I don't know if you've noticed this, but as a consumer, I feel like there's just so much noise right now with all these Black Friday marketing emails happening like a month out and all kinds of stuff. So I feel a little glazed over. So I imagine that everyone is feeling that way a little bit too, let alone making and running your own business and marketing for that. So you're not alone. That's just really what I'm trying to say. And it's getting dark early. It's snowing today a little bit, which is totally great for the photos. But it was also super windy earlier, so I was trying to wait for the wind to die down, but now it's like getting dark already. So it's only, what time is it? It's only 2:40. So there's a little bit more time before sunset. It might be better to just do these photos tomorrow morning. But I'm at least gonna get these headbands and beanies tagged and finished for photos, and then we'll see what time it is.
Peace with what is there. This is a part of it all. Who told you that it was too late?
Well, you totally called it. I did not get a chance to go and get beanie photos yesterday. It ended up just getting dark and there was like a super windy snowstorm. It did clear up a little bit later, but it was just too dark to get photos, so I just took Arya on a walk. But this morning, it's pretty cold. It's like 18 degrees Fahrenheit, and I don't have my winter skin yet, but look at what I got done yesterday. So I finished all of these headbands. I actually love this color palette. It's really fun. I did a poll in my stories and a lot of people were like, I love the colors, but I love more of the earth tones. But I think these are super fun too. But I do have the more earthy toned, well, I guess not all of them, but a couple of the zero waste beanies are earth tones. But then I have like the classic combo and then like this more purpley pinky one. I have a bunch more of these that I have to tag, but I don't need to get all of them tagged for the photos. It's interesting with the assorted because I feel like every single one is different, but I'm not going to take photos of each one individually. So I've been trying to like match the color theme for all of the ones like this that I'm making. But yeah, I've just been making. I actually stayed up really late last night finishing editing a YouTube video. I kept telling myself that I need to just let go of certain tasks. But it's that time of year where you kind of just have to market your stuff. And I really love YouTube, and I really want to just build on the momentum my channel has been getting, which thank you for being here if you've been watching my videos. You are what makes this all possible, and so I don't want to let off the gas with that. And the trip is coming up, my Iceland trip. So again, it's just pulling me in all different directions. And if you watched my fall shop update vlog, I remember saying how chill I was about that shop update. And for this one, I don't feel like I'm not relaxed about it. Like I don't have all of that anxiety like I had before, but I feel like I'm just a little bit less organized and focused. But you know, it's that crazy time. And so if you're feeling all over the place, you are not alone too. Like, I feel like I say it every year where I'm like, this year for the holidays, I'm going to be so prepped and so on it, but it has yet to feel that way. I just need to sit and knit for a little bit longer, and then we will go out and get photos. We have to, because the shop update is tomorrow. Finally watching The Bear. I don't know if you've seen it, but people kept telling me to watch it, and I just didn't because I had been in that industry for so long, like both working in fine dining and high volume restaurants. So if you didn't know, I was a chef for about 10 years before I left the chef world to work on a farm, and that's kind of where my businesses started. And in my last video, I was talking a lot about my trip to India that I took that really sparked me to start the business. But towards the end of my chef career, I was so burned out and went on this trip. And after that trip was when I quit the restaurant to work at the farm. So anyway, I've been thinking a lot about that because right now it's like the crazy season for small business owners and makers especially. So if you've worked in restaurants, you kind of get this too, where some nights the ticket machine never stops going and it is just constant. And I would always tell my staff, we can either get through this very stressed out and freak out, or we can work through these tickets as efficiently, as quickly as possible. But either way, they're gonna keep coming. So you kind of have to choose how you want to approach doing all of that stuff. And I feel like in a very different way, of course, that's kind of what the holiday season can feel like for small business owners, because the to-do list is never ending. There's always more stuff that you need to do. But how can we approach it in a more calm way? Because right now I feel like I could be freaking out with the shop update coming up, with the local shops that I have to stock, and knowing that I have a market and a corporate order to prep for. And between all this, I'm actually traveling for a wedding. So it is a lot, but I feel equally the sense of I want to be prepared and of course not let anyone down, but I also want to make sure I am prioritizing self-care. I'm not neglecting my relationships, and I'm not just working constantly, you know what I mean? It's a hard balance to find, and it's easier said than done, but let me know if you've been struggling with this a little bit too. But yeah, so anyway, finally out here to get some product photos. It's actually got really bright out, so we'll see if I can find a spot with good lighting, but then we just gotta keep on going. is super off right now because of the lighting, so I've got to like, oh no, what if we don't get the photos? Maybe actually this seems like a better lighting angle. Let's try it. The same outfit that I was wearing yesterday, but mostly because I thought it would be a good one for photos. And whenever I go take photos, I try to bring like 2 outfits so it's not all the same, and it helps now in the winter because I can be wearing a jacket and then take it off and it looks like a totally different outfit. So very helpful for batching. But I actually have to go. I didn't quite get all the photos I need, but I have my coaching session today, so I have to run home for that, and then I'll probably edit all the photos and see how many we have and what we need still. And then we probably do have time to get a couple more. I might end up just doing some flat lace since a lot of the ones I need are just for the shop listings, but I think we definitely have enough for content. So that was such a great coaching session, always. And it's funny because during our conversation she was like, I don't know if I've actually helped coach you through any breakthroughs today. How are you doing? And I'm like, no, this is great. Sometimes I feel like really it's just having someone who totally gets it from a small business owner side, a content creator side, a human being side, and someone who shares your values and mindset about life and work and the world. So it was just very energizing to have that chat. And then I forgot to film, but I got totally sucked in and made an Instagram reel. I've been trying to just keep reminding myself, like what I was saying earlier, just take a breath, exhale, keep going. It's gonna be fine. So I'm gonna try to edit some of the photos that we got. Like I said earlier, the lighting was kind of weird and I kind of had to rush back for that coaching session, so I didn't quite get all the photos that I need, but the shop update is tomorrow. Luckily, a lot of the styles that are in this update, I actually have photos from last year. So at first I was like, oh, I should get fresh photos, but if you're a maker and you take all your own photos too, it is okay to reuse photography and content. And that is something that has truly helped me with a little bit more efficiency and just reusing things that I've already created. So for example, I have the fireside beanie and cowl. This is the fireside beanie. And I took a lot of really awesome photos of them last winter. And so I've been using them for things like Instagram posts or in my emails and things like that. So it's totally okay, and I do plan to use them for some of my shop listings too. So if you've been feeling like you need to get fresh photos every time, you don't. It's gonna be fine. And so that way I can just focus on getting the photos of anything that's new or new colors, or like, oh, last year I did the modeled shots with these 2 colors. This year I'm gonna do the modeled shots with these colors. And I usually do try to have fresh new collections every year too. But there's also items that are just my standbys that I'll have again and again, or like last year, the fireside beanie was new. I'm not just gonna chuck it and do a whole new lineup. This only has been available for 1 season, so I'm gonna do it again. But anyway, back to work. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not 100% happy with those photos that we had to take inside, but there's nothing we can do about it now, so I could get up early and try to take a few, but for now, all of the listings are scheduled, so I'm very happy with that. I'm gonna draft up the email that's gonna go out tomorrow to my email list. But tonight I have dance rehearsal, and then remember the kickball team I played on over the fall? We have a little pizza party, so that'll be fun. But it's nice to have things that I'm like, I'm not gonna say no to this, so it's forcing me to just get the necessary things done and then let everything else go. But tomorrow the shop update is scheduled for 9 a.m. So it's kind of one of those, well, we got what we got for the morning, and we'll see what happens.
So focusing on making your exhale long.
Good morning. Happy Sagittarius season. If you didn't know, I'm a Sagittarius. And for me, it just really embodies this spirit of adventure, freedom, optimism, and uplifting others. So it's very fitting for the shop update to be today. It is live now, so I just made myself do a little meditation just 10 minutes before the shop update so that I can just settle in. But I scheduled all of the listings and scheduled the email to go out last night, so it's already happening. I'm just here making sure that everything is appearing on the website like it should. Ooh, see, look, there are some issues. I don't know why, but all the headband listings are the same color, so I'm gonna go in and just make sure it gets fixed. But see, this is why we check. So I think today I really just have to continue making a bunch of stuff, but we'll see how the shop update goes. I'm excited. I feel like I didn't market it as much as I have in the past just because there was so much other stuff going on, like I was talking about earlier in the week. It's just been kind of crazy. So, but we'll see. I use Squarespace and I created the website maybe 2 years into the business, and at first I actually started selling on Etsy. And when I started the website, it was more just to have a place for my brand, because on Etsy, it's very hard to instill your brand onto your Etsy shop. So when I started the website, I had the shop linked to the Etsy, so I didn't have to deal with the commerce aspect of things right away. And then when I was ready, I just updated my Squarespace website to the commerce version and started selling there, and then just moved off of Etsy. So if you've been curious about how I run the website, that is how I do it. Okay, I think everything is fixed now. I also just realized I didn't change my website cover page to winter. It's still very fall right now, so I'm gonna do that really fast. And then settle into some more knitting. Oh, we do have to get some stuff ready for Ohana for the weekend. And then just keep knitting. Well, I just dropped off at Ohana, but I need to get home and start making more stuff. In the next vlog, I will talk about how the shop update went and all of that stuff. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope you're having a great market season too, and I will see you in the next video.